And I can't tell you how many times we've done the research and found this company that is a popular name and they have a good rating and clients are being pitched this product. And then we pull up the balance sheet and they've been performing in the red for the last 3 years. Like, that's concerning to me. That's not somebody I would want to invest my money with. So that's how we treat it, is no different than if we were looking to do this on our own. One of the things that people can do out there, if you're looking for a way to do your own research, would be to go to the NAIC.org website, NAIC.org website. And here is where you can search. This is a consumer-facing website. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I think this is a good segment.
Yeah, and we'll provide the link in the description here on the video too.
Yeah, so if you go to the NAIC website, you can type in any company name. So for an example, Nationwide was the one that came up number one on the last example. We can come down and find Nationwide Life and Annuity Company, click here, and then go to their financial overview. And this is going to show us exactly how Nationwide's financials are comprised. It'll even tell us their commencement date. So what year did they come into business for the annuity arm of their brand? It'll tell us their assets under management, their liabilities, and then the capital and surplus after factoring those two. In addition, it'll tell us their net incomes for the last 3 years. And here's a stat. Not saying Nationwide's bad, not saying that at all, but it is something to think about. In 2023, they were actually performing in the red with a negative $529 million. I mean, they lost $529 million. And then last but not least, you can also look at their complaint count. Nationwide's a great company in most cases, so I'm not surprised to see that their complaint count's very low. But you can do this with any of the insurance companies. And this is a public-facing website, so you can do your own homework there. In addition, there are ways to pull another third-party resource for the analyzation of these insurance companies. One of those would be what we call the vital signs of the particular company, where they're taking a more in-depth look at the investment holdings. You know, what is Nationwide investing their portfolio in, and are those assets performing or non-performing? They'll also analyze the quality of those investments. Normally, quality, we're referring to bonds. So when we're looking at bonds, there's different quality or grades of bonds. And so when we look at this, so let me share my screen here. This is an example of a vital sign, of the vital signs for Nationwide. So when we come here, we can look at, all of their ratings from the different credit rating agencies. Again, their assets and liabilities. But where I really like this is on the actual investment pie chart here. So if you notice, 72% of Nationwide's portfolio is comprised of bonds, 18.5% on mortgages, so on and so forth. And then we can look at what their yield is on their portfolio, and then what percentage of their investments are non-performing assets. And for a carrier to be graded A+ like Nationwide, to get that prestigious rating, typically they're going to have less than 1% in their overall investment portfolio and non-performing assets. So in this case, they only have 10 basis points of non-performing assets. In this case, it's in their bond portfolio. And then if we look at their overall bond quality, we'll see that 44% of their investments in bonds is of the highest quality in class 1, and then 51% in class 2, so on and so forth. So you should be really working with an annuity expert that can break this stuff down for you. I'm not saying that it's required to make a good decision, but when you're really thinking about the long-term effects of making a bad decision, I think it's worthwhile to spend a few minutes with an expert that can help you navigate this decision and back it up with factual data to help you make an educated decision. Everybody wants to make an educated decision when it comes to their hard-earned dollars.
Yeah, that's a great point. And yeah, the common name for this annuity type is a sleep at night annuity.
I
In
love
order to
that.
do that, we need a company who can make us sleep well at night. So this is an important factor in the determination of what annuity product and what company we choose. So we don't take it lightly. As you can tell, we get into the weeds on this like we've done before. But this is a big factor.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. And I love that. I've never heard that before, the sleep at night annuity. I can't tell you how often we hear, people that choose to work with us, how they say they've been losing sleep at night, or they've been restless because of the markets, and they're constantly looking at their investment account and seeing what the market's doing. And that's just not a way to live, especially when you're going into these golden years of retirement, where you're supposed to be able to kick back and relax and spend a few bucks on the things you enjoy, and spending time with family and friends. That's no way to live, having to live in fear, or with concern that something may happen where you may have to alter your life in some pretty uh, large way. So I love the sleep at night annuity. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, maybe we'll
Cool.
just title this podcast the Sleep at Night Annuity.
That'll be good. Last but not least, we're coming up on the top of the hour here. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Zach, appreciate the hosting here. You've been doing a great job. I think it's important to really cover the misconceptions of these types of annuities with income riders, and maybe the way that they're misunderstood too by consumers. And we've touched on it earlier in the episode, where what we hear a lot, where these annuity types and with these income riders are being misrepresented or mispositioned, is where you have a novice agent or advisor who maybe they're not necessarily meaning harm, but they're not educated enough in a way to really know the intricacies of these products and how they work. And they're being sold themselves in a way based on the way the brochures and things are built. If you pull up these brochures, you'll see that even the insurance companies are really paying a lot of focus or requiring a lot of attention on like the premium bonuses and these roll-up rates and all of these things. And so these agents and advisors that are misrepresenting these products, the way that they lead with the misrepresentation is typically behind a bonus. So they'll come to you and say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Client, if you buy this annuity, it's the best one I found on the market because it has this high premium bonus. It's 25%. And that's not the right way to represent these products. They should be represented as a way to solve problems. And in this case, we're talking about an income need and a defined objective of guaranteed income. And so a bonus is not going to just allude to the fact that you're going to get the best bang for your buck when it comes from a guaranteed income perspective. Again, looking at those scenarios earlier, we found that when you look at these products, sometimes the highest options that come up don't even have a bonus at all. And so if you're working with somebody that is leading with a bonus and they're not even comparing other products for you to be able to compare and contrast and ultimately select from, then I would suggest that you really look out into the marketplace to find someone else to work with, because they're not doing you a good service. They're doing you a disservice. So one of those examples, real quick, to pull in, not to cut you off, Zach, but going back to the scenario of just assuming someone's looking for income at 500K, they're 70 years old and they're a male this time. Actually, let's do the single female. The single female is a common scenario. So we get another common scenario that we get is a single female that is working and she's planning to retire. Let's say she's 62 years old and she's looking at income on $500,000. When we come down the line now, and let's assume she's going to defer to age 67, which is her full retirement age. where she can turn on the full amount of Social Security. What we're going to observe now is the rankings of these income annuities. But what you'll notice is like the top option in this case is Corebridge. They don't offer a bonus on this product right now. It's 0 on the income benefit. It does have an 8.5% simple interest roll-up rate, but there's no bonus. So if we go to the option 2, we'll see that this product from Athene has a 20% income-based bonus. So if I was coming to you as a novice and I just had these 2 annuities and I didn't tell you exactly what the income amounts were, I was just leading with the bonus and said, Mr. or Mrs. Client, I have 2 options. I have this one from Corebridge with no bonus, and then this one from Athene with a 20% income bonus. Which one would sound better to you? It's going to be the Athene because it has a bonus, right? But remember that there's multiple factors that go into determining the highest guaranteed lifetime income. And those factors are the income benefit value multiplied by the payout rate. And in this case, if you notice with Corebridge with 0 bonus, the reason that they're higher on the guaranteed income is because they have a higher payout rate at 7.8%. If you come down to Athene, they're offering a bonus. Their income is less, and that's because their payout rate is less by 6.45%. So again, don't go and make a decision solely based on a bonus. It doesn't matter. The roll-up rate doesn't matter. What matters is the highest guaranteed income. How it got there, again, our philosophy is it doesn't matter. What matters is it guaranteed and how much is it? And is it the highest you can find?
Yeah, great point. And I think one of the things that I would like this too is, you know, a tradesman is only as good as the tool belt he has. So if you have all of the tools necessary to do the job, he's not going to do it well. Luckily, if he gets some duct tape on the job being done. Working with an expert in the industry, somebody who knows the craft, has all the tools that they need to provide the solution of somebody's need is more important, and not doing it half-assed, right? Taking the time out and spending the time making the educated decision. You and I know that our meeting process between the time at which we meet with somebody and the time at which a decision is made commonly is 3 to 4 meetings. A decision shouldn't be made in an hour on $100,000 or $500,000.
Yeah, no, that's true. It does take time. And that's one thing I advise all of our clients or prospective clients is take as much time as you need. And it should take time. Again, our meeting process, like Zach said, is generally 3 to 4 meetings that are an hour each, sometimes an hour and a half. And it depends on how much information you need to make a good decision. And we're willing and committed to making that time commitment to you to give you the education to make a good decision. We want you to make a good decision. We're not incentivized in any other way other than you making a confident and educated decision. That's our goal. And that's why we've developed this process is, you know, when I was starting out in this industry, I wanted to know exactly how I could make the best decisions and recommendations for my clients. And so what I did is the homework to learn what are all the things that need to be considered when making an evaluation of all of these different options. Because when you look at the marketplace and you see there's hundreds of them, how in the heck do you make a good decision without factual data? And I knew that it had to be more than just who's the highest rated company or who the highest income amount is.